Good evening, and welcome to the Thursday, May 12th edition of the Park and Recreation Board. I now call this board to order. We're going to ask Sungju Yoon to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you join us at the podium, please?
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. Can we turn this mic down a little? Test. Better. Thank you. Now it's time for the roll call. Ms. Hypley?
I'm going to defer to our recording secretary, Lupa Santiago.
So sorry. I was just reading what it told me.
I apologize for that.
It's okay. I
Yes.
thought it was strange, but that's okay.
Chair Barry Gasal,
I am here.
Vice Chair Maisha Peregrino.
Peguero Camino.
Peguero Camino.
Thank you, I'm here.
Secretary Lori Durbin. Absent. Board Member Ashley Ramsey.
Here.
And Board Member Ara Maserlian.
Here.
Maserlian.
Thank you. Thank you. And now for announcements. Christina Lara, will you please join us? Thank you.
Good evening, Chair Gasau and members of the board. My name is Christina Lara, and I'm Recreation Coordinator for the Parks and Recreation Department. Tonight, I have the pleasure of sharing the department's program announcements and updates. If we can please start the presentation. The Betsy Lukey Creative Arts Center welcomed the Pasadena Society of Artists to this month's featured gallery show. This show will feature original visual media from its members, including painting, mixed media, collage, sculpture, and more. The exhibit will be on view at the Betsy Lukey Creative Arts Center until May 26th. Coming up in June, Women Painters West is pleased to announce its June 2022 group show at the gallery. The exhibit will showcase the diversity of Women Painters West with the theme of Inspiration Point. The opening reception is Friday, June 3rd, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Come meet the artists and enjoy an evening of art. The City of Burbank Parks and Recreation Department and the Burbank Veterans Committee proudly present the annual Memorial Day ceremony, taking place on Monday, May 30th at 11 a.m. The event will take place at the McCambridge Park War Memorial, located at the corner of San Fernando Road and Amherst Drive. Join us for a pre-ceremony concert by the Burbank Community Band that will begin at 10:15 a.m. The event will feature a ceremony of the rose and a flyover by the Condor Squadron, sponsored by Cusimano Real Estate Group. Join us in honoring and remembering those who bravely served our country. It's time to splash into summer. To kick off the summer season, Verdugo Aquatic Facility is inviting the community to a free event with music, free recreational swimming, and games and activities. The 3 activity sessions are sold out, but participants are still welcome to join for recreational swimming in the main pool and enjoy all of the fun and games throughout the event. The City of Burbank's annual Dodger Day is scheduled for Sunday, June 5th at 1:10 p.m. Join us for a community day out as we celebrate and support our Los Angeles Dodgers as they take on the New York Mets. Tickets are currently on sale at www.burbankparks.com and at the sports office located at 1111 West Olive Avenue. Post-game activities include Kids Run the Bases for everyone that is 14 years and younger. The Summer Recreation Guide is out and available at www.burbankparks.com. Check out our many recreational class offerings because there's something for everyone. To stay up to date on the latest happening with Burbank Parks and Recreation, please be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find out about all of our programs and events that I have mentioned above by visiting our website at www.burbankca.gov/Parks and Rec events. Thank you, and this concludes all my announcements.
Thank you, Christina. Good job.
Thank you.
And I'd just like to throw in a little pitch here from the Memorial Day ceremony. Mickey DiPaolo is back in town. So for our first presentation, I'd like to call up Aaron Barrows to talk about the Starlight Bowl Summer Concert Series.
Good evening, Chair Gasau and members of the board. It's lovely to see you all in person tonight. My name is Erin Barrows. I'm the Recreation Services Manager for the Parks and Recreation Department, and I'm thrilled to announce our 2022 Starlight Bowl Summer Concert Series. We're back. We're pleased to announce the following concerts. Monday, July 4th, will be our annual American Celebration, which will feature music from The Company Men and Soul of Broadway, and the night will conclude with a patriotic firework display. Saturday, July 16th, will feature Yachtly Crew, the Titans of Soft Rock, and Radio Rebels, the #1 80s tribute. Saturday, July 23rd is Latin Night Under the Stars. Adelaide Pilar will kick off the evening with Latin variety dance songs, and Corazon de Maná, a tribute to Maná, will close the night. Saturday, July 30th, get ready to party like it's 1999 with the blockbusters and a selection of 90s hits and the return of the Spasmatics as they recapture all the awesome sounds and styles of the 1980s. Saturday, August 6th, crowd favorites and the longest running Starlight Bowl show, the Fab Four, the Ultimate Beatles tribute, will be sure to have the crowd singing and dancing the night away. Saturday, August 13th, we'll close our city concert series with a night of great music featuring Hot August Nights tribute to Neil Diamond, and the Fabba Show will have you on your feet disco dancing all night as they pay tribute to ABBA. Tickets for all the above-mentioned concerts will go on sale starting this Wednesday, May 18th. Tickets can be purchased one of 2 ways. You may go to starlightbowl.com beginning at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, May 18th to purchase, or you may visit us at the Parks and Recreation Administrative Services offices located in the Community Services Building on the 3rd floor on May 18th beginning at 10 a.m. In addition to our city summer concert series, we are continuing to work with partnerships for revenue rentals to bring in additional revenue for the city. Once again, for the 2022 season, the Starlight Bowl has partnered with LA Concert Group, who will be hosting 4 special engagements. August 21st and 22nd, both nights will feature Thomas Anders and the Modern Talking Band, along with Sandra and DJ BPM. August 28th and 29th will bring Mariachi Vargas de Tecalitlán back to the Starlight Bowl stage. They were a favorite last year. Sterling Venue Ventures will be hosting 2 special engagements as well. July 29th will bring Big Bad Voodoo Daddy back to the Starlight Bowl venue, and September 3rd, Beth Hart will be coming in. And finally this year, we will be working with Jabum Entertainment for the first time. July 9th, they will have Common with Double G's Stardust Symphony, Lettuce, Nikki Costa, and KCRW DJ Novena Carmel. Tickets for all these special engagements are currently available on the starlightbowl.com website as well. This concludes my update on the 2022 Starlight Bowl season. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions, anybody?
Thank you. We look forward
Ms.
to seeing
Barrows,
you all
I am
there.
excited.
We're excited. I hope to see you all at a concert this summer.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next presentation is a youth board presentation, and I'd like to bring back to the podium Sungju Yoon.
Thank you. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Sungju Yoon. I'm in the 11th grade at Burbank High School, and I served as the 2021-2022 chairman of the Burbank Youth Board. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm just here tonight on behalf of the entirety of our board to show you what we've been up to and have accomplished this year, which is what this presentation will consist of. All right, so there we go. Wonderful. So our board is composed of 17 members from both private and public schools in our city. 10 members serve as representatives of their respective schools. The other 7 are at-large members, but all members have equal voting power. And even though we come from different schools, we represent a wide variety of students, demographics, and concerns. Each of us at our core just serve to represent Burbank youth and city affairs in general. We serve as a connection between the city and the students in our city, which is our primary purpose, and we provide input for parks and recreation teen events, but we as a board also look for ways to give back to the community by completing and organizing a good amount of projects throughout the year. So this year, as our theme of sorts, we chose spreading kindness as our main goal, given the unruly state of the world right now. Wonderful. Unfortunately, for most of the year, until the very last meeting really, we had to be online given the pandemic, but we still kept it running full steam ahead. Even without being in person, we really bonded as a united team, and we all got to know each other by going that extra mile. Now, my first term on this board was actually 4 years ago when I was in the 7th grade, so I remember having consistent meetings in person, and I actually think that the camaraderie was pretty on par. We really did have a great time, and even more so at our in-person events and meetings. Wonderful. So I'll touch on some of those events. In March, our board completed our first community project, which was held in person. We voted to host a community drive in support of Home Again LA, which is a nonprofit organization that supports situationally homeless families. They've actually been awarded the state of California's Nonprofit of the Year, so it was both an honor and a pleasure to work with them. We collected home goods, hygienic supplies, cleaning products, and so on for their cause, and we actually filled up their truck completely twice. They actually had to come back to get a second collection because of how well our community banded together and contributed, and it was also just a great opportunity to get to know each other as well. We're really grateful to everyone who donated to that cause. There we go. Then in April, our board joined the Parks and Recreation team to volunteer at the annual Spring Extravaganza. An annual favorite of the event is the bunny booth, where young event goers can take a photo with the bunny. You might have seen that on Facebook or whatnot. I was actually the bunny this year, and this was my 2nd year in a row being the bunny. In that same vein, we coordinate this booth each year, and we collect donations to donate to a local nonprofit organization. This year, we collected around $450, and we voted in our last meeting to split the donations in between the Burbank YMCA Social Impact Center and Jacaranda Housing. For reference, the Burbank Y Social Impact Center is our local resource collective for activism. Their mission involves ensuring that students that identify as LGBTQIA+, students of color, students with disabilities, and so on, have a place to turn where they can be unconditionally loved, and Jacaranda Housing is a local organization that helps young women that are transitioning out of the foster care system to ensure that they have stable housing opportunities, skill training, mentorship, and so on. We specifically chose these 2 groups because they were newer organizations with less institutional resources, but nonetheless great purposes and initiatives. It was a blast. We got to connect with the community and raise those funds. You can see the pictures right there. Wonderful. In addition to our community events, our board also contributed to a number of projects taking place around the city. Just to name a few, we provided input and community opinions on how to best utilize the new tobacco grant that our city received. We were asked our opinions regarding the developments over at George Isay Park and invited to focus groups on that. We received presentations on the city's greenhouse reduction plan. We were able to meet in conjunction with the Los Angeles Youth Commission, so much more. And all of that being said, it was an honor to work with those groups as well, just to ensure that our community is developing on the right path. And last but not least, we as a board have the honor of awarding one Burbank youth every year the Austin Cook Award. Our board developed this award many, many years ago, long before my time, to honor the outstanding achievements displayed by a middle or high school student over the past year in our city. We had the honor of continuing it this year. This award is in honor of Austin Cook, whose life touched the heart of the community and serves as an example to Burbank's youth. And nominations were sent in by school administrators, counselors, and teachers. And after thorough consideration, our board is proud to announce that the 2022 Austin Cook Award winner is Noor Foss, who will be awarded at the May 24th City Council meeting. Noor is a 12th grade student at John Burroughs High School who's had an incredible high school career and was actually nominated by 2 John Burroughs High School staff, Counselor Lisa Chung and coach and teacher Victoria Oganyan. Noor is a scholar athlete, maintaining the highest GPA amongst the entire girls basketball program since the 10th grade. And for reference, her counselor noted that in her 20 years of service, Noor was, quote, the most active change agent for social justice that she had ever seen in her career. She was the creator of the Helping Hands Club at her school that has assisted over 150 children in Tunisia, and founding co-chair of the Equity and Diversity Inclusion Committee over at John Burroughs High School. We're more than proud to award Noor the 2022 Austin Cook Award for Outstanding Youth. All right, and that was the 2021-2022 term of service for our board, which we're quite proud of. For me personally, coming on as a first-year chair and being uncertain with what we could do given the constraints of the global pandemic, I'm especially proud of every single board member and what we've done just showing up even. Not to be facetious, but I think young people, especially around the middle to high school age, are actively looking to be part of something bigger than themselves and just often don't know where to turn for that purpose. I think our board's a perfect example of one of those outlets. The people that I've met, the projects I've been able to be a part of, even the seemingly small memories that we've made, it's genuinely transformative. If any of you know any youth that you think would be a good fit for it, please encourage them to apply as we continue into the next fall. It's a competitive process for sure. I can tell you firsthand, my first term on this board was in the 7th grade, and my second term was in 10th grade, not due to a lack of not trying, trust me, but it's one of the most invaluable experiences that I've gotten through a community extracurricular. It's really engaging, and it's just a great opportunity. Thank you so much for your time.
Hang on. Anybody got any questions?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your service and for being on the youth board. I've had the privilege of attending to some of your youth boards online, and so I'm glad that y'all got to meet in person. And I was there for the vote when you were voted chair, and obviously they picked the best person possible. And I think, it's just, you said it too, like your generation, you are all so passionate, and it's a testament to the work that you're doing, and I'm grateful that you're here and part of that board. So thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. You're too kind.
Oh.
Board Member Massolian?
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is you make me feel like I was a schlep in high school. So congratulations on all the great work that you did. One question that I have is obviously the stuff that you guys are working on. It's great just A, to give back to the community as you have and be an important part of the community, but B, it obviously it helps enhance your resume for college, and they look for all these kind of things now more than they do your SAT scores, or if that's even a thing. So I think, like, I have a daughter, it's in first grade, for example. At what grades are kids made aware of this, or how can they know? I know that's a little too young, but at what grade? You said 7th grade, but how do they learn about this? How do they? Do you guys promote it within the school system so then other kids aspire as they grow into being, junior high or high school to get involved in this? Or because I think it's great, and I think more kids hopefully can aspire to what you guys are doing.
Sure. Thank you so much for your comments and the kind compliments. If I recall correctly, the way that I found out about this was that I found an application at the public library, and it was just sitting there, and I took it off. But more broadly speaking, what we usually do is that we send out, notifications awareness to counselors, school staff. We put the applications every place that we can, at public libraries, at the parks, at the recreation centers, so on and so forth, just to make it as accessible as possible, because obviously we don't want to limit the scope of what we're doing or who gets to access that, of course. So in that same vein, we're always looking to improve that awareness, because not everyone is aware of it, of course. But we're actively looking to promote that. So, me being here and telling you about it, our other members going around to their campuses, letting them know, telling their friends, getting that out there, their counselors telling them, their teachers telling them, and we also actively look for nominations from administrators and so on. Those are all avenues through which we can take that, but we're always looking to expand that.
Hi there, my name is Bryce Burton. I'm the staff liaison with Parks and Rec for the youth board. He just did a great job explaining exactly what we do. We work closely with the school district. We send them our applications. It goes out to all the teachers, middle school and high school teachers, and it goes out to each school. And as I mentioned at the beginning, each school actually chooses one representative. So we actually only accept 7 at-large members, and so it is a really competitive process, but once they get to middle school, hopefully, it was really tough these past couple of years. We weren't able to go on campus. We love to get on campus and promote at lunch and when we can do that and do it in person so we can actually interact with them. But, these last couple of years, we've had to rely on just the words, just the district themselves distributing the paperwork in order to apply. So that's really the process.
Yeah, what would be cool is I don't know if you guys do this or if it's allowed, but for 5th graders that are about to go into middle school, you guys go and, not a presentation, but just go and talk to them and say, hey, on the youth board, when you guys get to middle school and stuff, you have the opportunity, and these are some of the fun things that we work on, and maybe
that's a great
some
idea.
sort of something at the 5th grade level to give them these are fun things that we work on kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. The team program group we'll keep that in mind for sure. Thank you.
Vice Chair Gamino?
Well, you're clearly doing a great job identifying some amazing youth. Sunjun, I'm so impressed with you. And I just want to commend you. You are a fantastic representative of youth and of our city, and I commend you and just thank you for such a wonderful presentation. Keep it up. You're on the right path, and I'm just so very proud of you. And congratulations to Nora as well.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
So, I had the great opportunity to be the liaison to the youth board, 5 or 6 years ago, and I loved it. I did that for about 2 or 3 years, and it's amazing what these kids learn. Right beginning at the 7th grade level, and they learn things that they wouldn't normally learn, and it's a great opportunity for all of us to learn from them because they do a great job. And lastly, and by the way, I agree with Vice Chair Gamino, you did an amazing job. And I knew I'd met you before, because here's our picture together at the extravaganza. So I knew we'd met before. So
You're wearing the bunny suit.
there you go.
Great photo.
I'll be back again next year for 3rd year as the bunny.
I'll be there too. We'll have another picture together.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for your presentation. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Just wonderful. And now, unfortunately, I must excuse myself. Vice Chair Gamino, if you will take this chair, please. I will leave this for you. You'll need this.
Perfect. My pleasure. Thank you so much, Chair Gasell. It'd be my pleasure to take it from here. Then I will stay right here and turn off that other microphone. So the next item on our agenda is a department director report. So I'd like to ask Director Ms. Garcia to share comments. Thank you.
Good evening, Vice Chair Gamino and board members. I do not have an update this evening.
Thank you very much, Ms. Garcia. Okay, next is public comment. So for general comment, our members of the public who are here in person, please present a completed yellow general public card to the recording secretary if you wish to speak. Members of the public may offer 3 minutes of comment on any matter related to Parks and Recreation Board, and we have one comment here. In order to promote fairness, please stay within your maximum allotted time of 3 minutes. A timer is available on the podium to help the speaker keep track of how much time is left. I encourage you to state your name while speaking at the podium to assist the clerk with the minutes. For those wishing to participate virtually during the general public comment period, Please connect via Zoom link posted on the agenda or call 669-900-9128 and enter event code 940-9562-5318. Persons connecting via Zoom will be placed in a queue until all in-person comments have been received. Our moderator will identify you and give you permission to speak so that you can offer your public comment. Please give us one moment, and when we're ready, I'll let you know when we could start. Ms. Hypley, please let us know if there's any public comments. And, oh, actually, I need to do the yellow card first, right? Okay. This is our first time doing hybrid, right? Okay. Thank you. So we have one comment from Robin Jimmel. Am I saying that right? Thank you so much. Please approach. Floor is
Good
yours.
evening. Thank you so much. I'm Robin Gemmel, and I'm here as a representative of the Burbank Community Steering Committee. And I want to thank all of you for your ongoing support for this effort. We are working really hard to get our garden up and running. Diego's been in regular communication with us to get it going, and I want to thank you all for your support. When we created this garden, the goal was to close the food insecurity gap, and we want to promote healthy food choices, healthy environment, and a healthy community. So we seek to be a very welcoming space for people in the community, growing organically and learning from one another as we transcend all of the various social inequities that we encounter. I can tell you firsthand, we had 170 applications for about 60 to 70 spots. That's a really good turnout, and we really appreciate the support. The other piece of this is, this has been a long road. Many here might remember it's been about 12 to 14 years that we've been trying to get this going. Nod, yeah. So I want to thank you all for your support, and I also want to ask that you continue to support us. We're about ready to kick off and move forward with the Chandler Pass Garden, but we need to now think forward in time to the Clark Hollywood Way Garden. So we still need your support in order to complete the process. And again, we thank you, and I'll answer any questions. Oh,
Board members, are there any questions? I have one question. Clearly, there is a demand for this. You said 170 applications for not so many spots.
right.
How did you come up with who would get us this initial spot?
Oh, that's a good question. We offered a lottery, and in the lottery process, as I noted before, we really wanted to focus on people who were food insecure or had limited resources, so that we could offer them this opportunity to not only grow their own food, but share in the community that's going to be built as a result.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
and so while we can only create 60 or 70, that's a lot of need there. So if you could think forward and find other spaces, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for your
And
time.
thank you to Diego. I got to go to the steering committee.
Are there additional questions?
No.
None on Zoom? Okay. Well, seeing no other speakers, we will now close public comment period.
And just for the record, there were no public comment via Zoom.
Thank you. Okay, so the next item on our agenda is new business, and we will discuss the community gardens. And so we'd like to have Mr. Diego Ceballos, right?
Vice Chair Gamillo, sorry.
Yes, please.
We do have
Did I
two,
skip?
two items. So there's response to public comment and written
I
communication.
apologize. I'm
That
not
is
following
okay.
instructions
We are
very
all,
well.
this is all new to us, back in person.
I'm a little disoriented with all the hybrid and everything. Thank you so much. So, okay, so is there any response to public comment period from board members? Okay. Are there any written communications? Ms. Garcia?
Yes,
Thank
just
you.
wanted to make the board aware that we did receive one written communication that was provided to the board members in their packet, and copies are available for the public here.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect. Thank you very much, and I read that comment. It's very helpful feedback. Okay. Now we are, okay, and then park board comments. Are there any park board comments?
Yes, I just have a quick update. We had our DeBell Golf Course Committee Advisory meeting yesterday, so just a very high-level update here. We got to meet Jesse Sanford, who's the new general manager. Seemed like a great guy, knows what he's doing. Sounds like he's got things under control over there, so that was exciting. One thing he shared with us, which he works for Touchstone, which is obviously the company that's running it. DeBell, he had mentioned, was the #1 course in the Touchstone company. So based on, I believe, it was based on a number of rounds and all that. So that was really exciting to hear that DeBell's doing some good stuff. And some improvements happening over there with the irrigation. Is this working? The irrigation project. I think it went out. And then there's some future projects that they have in mind with the sand bunkers and cart paths and tee boxes and whatnot. So, yeah, all exciting stuff. And our next meeting will probably be sometime in August. So, just want to report on that.
Thank you, Board Member Marsilian. Board Member Ramsey, do you have anything to report?
I don't.
Okay, and
Thank
neither
you.
do I. And now we're back on the agenda. Thank you for your patience, Diego. I'd like to invite you to share an update with us.
Good evening, Board Member Gamino, members of the board, Diego Ceballos, Deputy Director of Recreation Services. I have the pleasure this evening of presenting a brief update on the Burbank Community Gardens, showcasing the benefits of a strong partnership between the department, volunteers, and a regional nonprofit. On May 4th of 2021, the City Council approved an agreement between the City of Burbank and the Los Angeles Community Garden Council to manage community gardens located on Chandler and Pass, as noted earlier, and Hollywood Way in Clark. Additionally, during the May 4th meeting, Council reallocated $125,000 to support capital improvements at both gardens. The Los Angeles Community Garden Council is a tax-exempt, nonprofit organization that was selected for their community garden management experience. Since 1998, the Los Angeles Community Garden Council has supported communities in managing approximately 125 community gardens throughout the Los Angeles County. LACGC will be responsible for creating operational guidelines, establishing volunteer roles, creating volunteer leadership opportunities, establishing garden rules, accepting and reviewing garden applications, assigning plots, collecting garden dues, paying utility bills, assisting members with planning and organizing workshops, and resolving conflict. LACGC will provide the department with an annual operating report that includes revenue and expenses and programming activities that are operated at the garden. Recently, LACGC established various committees focused on community outreach, communication, fundraising, volunteer coordination, event planning, and youth engagement. There's approximately 24 active community members volunteering to organize the community gardens at Chandler and Pass. If we can launch the PowerPoint, wonderful. LACGC has been taking plot applications, as we mentioned, since March of 2022. The deadline to submit applications were April 15th. As mentioned earlier, we received 170 applications. And part of our success is that community members had the opportunity to apply online, and also they had the opportunity to apply in person by visiting the Olive Recreation Center Monday through Friday during regular operating hours. The plots that we're going to be allocating for growing organic food will be allocated in a 3-year rental period cycle. LACGC has established a $12 monthly plot rental fee to support operations. 10% of the fees collected will cover the costs associated with utilities, insurance, and creating a sustainable organizational model. The remaining 90% of the fees will be used to provide maintenance to the garden site. That's a quick glance at the Chandler Pass site. I think we were all at that site during our park tour. And this is a quick glance at what the site, once it gets built out, will look like. There's going to be room for demonstration gardens, an area to provide lectures and activities, and roughly this site will host about 38 garden plots. Earlier, Ms. Robin had mentioned 60 to 70 plots. That's in combination, the total amount of plots potentially available once the Hollywood Way Clark Garden is online. As we move on, we're looking forward to partnering and working closely with LACGC and their volunteers to open the Chandler Pass site on May 28th. We're also forecasting that we're going to be opening the Hollywood Way Clark Garden in early 2023. Previously, this garden was the Sheridan Garden Nursery. The approximate size of this LADWP parcel in square feet is about 13,900 square feet, which is 0.32 acres of land. And again, this will host approximately 30 future garden plots. And a quick view of that site is that Hollywood Way in Clark. And if we look at this is a rendition that will have to get presented to LADWP for approval. On this particular schematic, you see roughly 49 garden plots. It'll probably be scaled down considerably to allow vehicles to egress the garden. Community gardens are a place where people come together and share their love for gardening. Community gardens transcend social barriers and are vibrant cooperative organizations that build self-reliance, mitigate global warming, and provide safe recreational green spaces. The department is confident that LACGC and their resourceful cadre of volunteers have the organizational structure and capacity to manage 2 vibrant community gardens in Burbank. This concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to answer any of your questions.
Do any of the board members have any questions?
I have a question. Are you planning on, are there going to be any vouchers or like fee waivers for the monthly fees for folks?
That's a great question. And so part of the structure that they're developing is to have fundraisers for folks that don't have the resources to be able to afford that monthly due. Currently, as we speak today, we have selected members for the Chandler Pass site, and of the members that we've selected, one has presented a need. But as we start collecting fees and things change in people's lives, the group is going to be very open to exploring fee waivers that will be subsidized by fundraising that the group will do.
Thank you.
Board Member Mercurian, did you have a question as well?
No.
Okay, thank you so much. I understand that you have a second presentation for us as well today.
I do, if there's no other questions.
There's no other questions. Thank you so much.
Allow me to shuffle the deck here a little bit. Okay. Again, good evening, board members. I'm here today to present you a quick update on the playground enhancements that will be happening at the George Izay Playground. On October 29th, if we can get the PowerPoint up. On October 29th of 2021, the Park and Recreation Department replaced the playgrounds at George Izay Park. The playground replacement project was consistent with the replacement schedule for play equipment citywide. The schedule is based on the age and condition of the equipment, as well as industry standards and compliance regulations. The playground equipment at George Izay Park was installed in 2008, and while it was safe, it had exceeded its useful life. The playground equipment installed was geared towards children ages 2 to 5 and 5 to 12 years old. There were multiple factors that contributed to the playground design. Today's playgrounds are required to have greater landing zones for children, allowing for more open space between playground equipment and amenities in the event a child should fall. It also increases access as required by the Americans with Disabilities Act. Other factors that contribute to the selection of this design included a limited footprint, the placement of existing shade structure, and limited funding. Consequently, fewer play elements were incorporated into the final playground design. Shortly after the Izay Playground opened, staff received community feedback related to the installation of the new play equipment. Specifically, there were limited play features for children 5 to 12 years of age. Staff scheduled several listening sessions with community members to get a better understanding of their needs. Subsequent to the initial dialogue with community members, the department felt that a mid-year appropriation request was appropriate, so we could add additional elements for children that are 5 to 12 years of age. Staff used the George Izay Park Master Plan public engagement process that initiated in November of 2021 to collect feedback on the future enhancements to the playground. After reviewing extensive community feedback, the playground design consultant developed a playground design that will be presented to you today. If I can get that PowerPoint up. Okay, in your package, you'll see various amenities that have been that are being recommended this evening. The playground design consists of expanding the 5 to 12-year-old play structure that includes a wave climber, a freeform climber, and a corresponding 60-inch landing zone. And if you could see that, if you can look at that image, it's that middle structure, it's that gray freeform element that is going to be augmenting the playground. So we're going to be extending this particular play structure 5 feet. On the other side of this play structure, we have that ladder that we're also going to be including, again, augmenting this play feature. In addition to the new enhancements, we are also looking to install a custom climbing hub designed for children 5 to 12 years old that will feature various interactive climbing elements. And these elements include a tri-step jungle traverse, a wheel traverse, a custom climbing hub, and a 90-degree loop traverse, and multiple access points. Finally, staff is recommending the addition of a Spin Max orbital play structure. This spinner offers unique climbing experience with 2 interior levels where children can explore and abundant inclusive seating inside the orbital. On March 1st, 2022, Council approved $149,000 in a mid-year appropriation to enhance the George Isay Playground. These funds will be used as one-time dollars to enhance the playground. To conclude, the department prides itself in creating unique play areas and experiences for all park users. Staff is committed to continue to follow our internal selection process, and whenever possible and appropriate, we will strive to replace like-for-like play equipment. Finally, for future playground replacement projects, staff will present the Park and Recreation Board with the proposed playground designs for feedback and support. The department believes that this inclusive playground design enhancement presented today will provide children ages 5 to 12 with an interactive play area to exercise and develop for years to come. This concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer your questions and receive any feedback on these proposed changes.
Are there any questions from our board members? Comments? Thank you. Board Member Marcelian?
Yes, thank you for presenting that. I have a couple of questions. The first one is, what's the estimated timeline of beginning and then estimated timeline of ending? And when you do start it, will the park need to be closed to make it happen? I'm guessing yes.
Yeah, so let me just answer those questions in order there. One, the timeline is we need to conclude, the feedback process, which is in this public setting. We want to get feedback from our board. If the board feels that this design is an appropriate implementation based on all the feedback that we've received, and that I'm sure that you guys have been part of those conversations. If we're able to get the support in this design, we would be moving quickly with a consultant to start the installation and the construction project in about 10 weeks, which would put us towards the close of summer. And yes, the playground will need to be closed for a few weeks to do the installation, but then also for all of the safety inspections to occur.
Sorry, I have a couple more questions.
Please.
So I'm looking at this. It's really small. It's hard for me to read, so I don't know the exact name of it, but the one with the ladder and the slide and all that, the first picture.
Yes.
That's an existing structure, and so what you're looking to add is on one side that kind of like that climbing feature, and on the other side the ladder. So is that correct?
That's correct. So we're going to take the existing structure and we're going to augment, so meaning spread it by 5 feet, and then add a column in the middle with those two elements, the play elements on both sides, that ladder climber and then the free-form climber on the other side, and then a landing zone.
And then the climbing, the other climber that you guys are building that I'm looking at, that along with the spinner, those are new additions that'll go into the park playground on top of all the other things that are. Is anything being taken out?
Yes. So two elements that are going to be removed is for lack of a better word, the two pedestals that didn't have a lot of motion. So that's where the large climbing hub is going to go. The park superintendent is looking to repurpose those small elements, where the orbital spinner, the large structure that spins, that's going to go where there's currently a balance bar. And that balance bar is also going to be repurposed. There's no other elements that are going to be taken away to be able to make these enhancements.
So that little, I guess, merry-go-round, whatever you call it, that thing is
That
staying?
stays.
Okay.
Correct.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, my initial feedback is that the new climbing structure, I think, will be great for the 5 to 12-year-olds. So I think I like that a lot. The spinner is pretty cool. It seems like, there's a lot of climbing and moving around, and, kids will have a lot of fun. I think that can attract kids really of all ages. Not all, the 12 and under, but that whole entire range of kids. And I'm glad you guys are keeping the other elements in there as well, because, some of them, like the merry-go-round thing, I don't know the right term, but that seems the kids are interested in. I like the fact that you're keeping this other structure and then augmenting and building out some things where kids that are a little bit older can climb to get into the structure rather than, the one thing I would say, and I don't know all the rules and I wish, and probably the budget doesn't cover it, was I wish there was a way to replace and make it a little bit higher, bigger, but I totally get that budgets and safety and all that probably restrict that. So I think based on what I'm seeing, I personally think these are good additions and will help alleviate some of the community's concerns, regarding not having a lot for the 5 to 12-year-olds. I think that climbing structure is really big, and I think that's going to be a big key for that age group.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the feedback.
Are there any other comments? Okay, I'll just add that, one question first, and then I'll add. If I remember correctly, you also thought about children with special needs or mobility differences. Is that correct? Can you remind me of that again?
Yeah, so the surface of the playground was changed from sand to a pour and play surface, which provides a lot of access and mobility for folks that are either in wheelchairs or assisted walking devices. So that adds an element of accessibility. The orbital spinner, part of the reason that it was also selected was that it has that low seating area for somebody that has a mobility issue or challenge to experience play with other kids that may have higher abilities. So definitely every design element we're looking at them through the lens of accessibility and meeting all ADA requirements. But beyond that, for trying to exceed wherever possible.
I appreciate that. Thank you for listening to community's feedback. I'm among that group as well that has children in that older age group, and these activities, these new elements look amazing and exciting. The spinner, it looks really fun. It's amazing, and I really like your thoughts also on accommodating all children within our community, and just even how some children could sit on the bottom of that spinner, I think is really amazing. It's very inclusive. They could play with all children together. So thank you for listening and all your work on this. It's amazing.
You're welcome. All the credit has to be given. I'm just presenting to you today. Our superintendent of parks, Mike Del Campo, really rolled up his sleeves and was a big pushing force behind this project. So I will pass along the compliments.
Great, thank you. Great work.
If I just
Please.
may add one comment, just for clarification, the reason why we're not going to, assuming the board supports the proposed enhancements to the playground, the reason why we wouldn't be starting for 10 weeks is because of the lead time. So we've contacted the contractor and manufacturing. Typically, lead time is anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, but it's now more like 10 weeks. So we would have loved to have done this sooner, but timing-wise, in terms of, it actually works out well because we'll be able to go through summer, even though our goal would have been to have this done by summer. So just wanted to make sure that was noted.
Yeah, one thing I'd like, obviously we're having this meeting today, and hopefully there's community members watching this, but a lot of community members probably, don't. So one thing is, once things are actual and you guys are ready to move to the next step and timing and stuff starts getting confirmed and firmed up, is there a way you guys can put out like a community bulletin or something just so that they're aware it's coming, we're looking at potentially starting around this dates, and just so the community goes, oh, thank you, got it, like looking forward to it, just something along those lines?
Absolutely, we will be posting, and and making sure that we get the word out. We do have, through this process, we have a few community members who've been working alongside us, and so they're also helping spread the word. So we'll make sure that we get the word out as best we can to the community.
Excellent. I see that there is no voting necessary on this, but I certainly lend my support, and I'm thankful for this process, how inclusive it's been, and I'm so thankful for our community members who share their thoughts so that it's a even better structure and better playground for our students. So thank you to our community members, and thank you for Parks and Recreation team. You all are amazing. Really appreciate you responding. Okay, next item on the agenda is our consent calendar. So these items include the minutes, the agenda, the council agenda items, our contract compliance, the park patrol report, department operations update. All of these are in the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to approve all of the items in the consent calendar? Can I have a motion to approve all items in the consent calendar? As is.
I motion to approve the consent
Thank you.
calendar.
Do I have a second?
And I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None are opposed. All in favor. Motion passes, and we are done with the consent calendar. So next item on our agenda is the second period of public comment. Do I need to read this again? Okay, thank you. It's pretty long. So I open it up to our community. If there's any additional public comments for the board to listen to or hear. Okay, and none on Zoom, correct? Okay, perfect. We will continue to move on. We'll close public comment period now, and we move to the next item, and that is if there's any additional comments from the board. I invite any board members to share any additional comments. There are none, so we'll continue to move on. Are there any introductions of new agenda items that we should consider for the next meeting, board members? Okay, please let it reflect that there are none as well, no additional items for the board members to discuss. And so with that, unless there's anything else that I should know, okay, perfect, then we will conclude our meeting. Our next meeting is on June 9th in council chambers. Thank you all for attending tonight, and that is the end of our meeting. Have a great night, everyone.